Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to another episode of Raising the Flag. Today, I'm fortunate to have one of the most exciting athletes coming out of JUCO this year. If you've not heard of him, South Plain College, he was one of the fastest guys in JUCO this year, ran one of the fastest all-condition time in Zimbabwe history. Here in the person of Denzel. Denzel, welcome to the Shortcast.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for making it a possibility. First of all, how would you sum up your season? That this year you've had a very good season at South Plain, running one of the fastest time in Zimbabwe history, the 200 meters, all the way from the 60 meters to the 100 meters to the 200 meters. You were everywhere. What contributed to your success this season?
To be honest, firstly, I think it was the effort that I put in the off season. Because last year I started like preparing for my season like from the fall. I mean from the summer. June, July, I was doing like I was working on myself so that like when the fall started, my body was in good shape to actually start practicing. And the focus that I had in taking care of myself was better than the one of my previous years as a freshman. Because when I was a freshman, I didn't care about going to training room. I thought just going to practice is what would contribute to running fast. But when you actually want to really run fast, it is all about how you take care of your body, what you put in your body, and the rest that you give into your body. So after I knew that, I had a plan for myself that I had to follow from fall, and I was putting in a lot of work, and it actually paid off when the season started.
That is awesome. So my next question is gonna be when you move out here, where you moved out here like about 2 years ago to join South Plain, did it change your perspective on how to compete, how to train? What impact did it have in your development after joining South Plains?
After doing what? After coming to South Plains,
Yeah.
um, I personally feel like everything was new for me because firstly, I wasn't good at like gym stuff. I wasn't strong enough, right? Secondly, my body wasn't strong enough to actually be good at the workload that we're being given. Because back in Zimbabwe, it was quite different because like you just go to practice, do the program, go back home. You don't even care about what you eat because sometimes we come from families whereby the situation is already bad. So I cannot force like my parents who already don't have much to help me in eating like let's say protein, even good supplementation for me. So the transition, it was good in terms of like the things that the new place in the school could offer me, but what it came with, like the workload, the gym load, I couldn't handle that. So I feel like that's why my first year I faced a lot of injuries just because my body was not strong enough for the workload that I was having. Because like I remember the gym was hard for me. My first month, it was so funny because I used to lift with the girls. That's how weak I was. Yeah, I used to live with the girls,
Mhm.
and but like as time went on, I started catching up. But I feel like even though I was catching up, but to what I wanted to achieve, I couldn't just because like there was a big gap that I needed to close before I started achieving that. So that's why my season I got better as the season was going by. My freshman year was pretty tough because I got injured like my first race, my second race, which was in Houston. I injured my left hip, and it was just a cycle. From my left hip, it went to my right hip, and then my left hamstring to my right hamstring. So
Dang.
it was just a cycle of injuries, just because I don't think my body was ready for the load that I
Yeah.
was that I was being given. So I also felt like maybe if I could train with lighter loads, I could have ran my freshman year, but it was kind of hard. And I had a lot of I had a big break because if you see my profile for my freshman year, like there's a big gap with my outer season because I only ran a 4x4 to test where I am, and I ran 100 meters to actually qualify for nationals, and then ran 100 meters at nationals. So I didn't have a lot of races in me just because like of the injuries that I faced. That's why I told you like what contributed to my 2025 season is that I prepared using the summer to actually get strong for the fall. So when my season was done, I only rested like May, June, then July. I started doing like some light work, doing a lot of fundamental stuff that I did as a freshman to actually get strong so that like when the fall season starts, I'll be like maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead. And to be honest, that actually helped me to have this awesome season that I had because I felt the hamstring, but like I was strong enough to kind of control the pain just because I was taking care of my body, going to the training room, getting it treated, and I had a strain, but I could manage it throughout the season, because I was taking care of myself, and
Yeah.
I think I was strong enough to actually handle all the load that we're being given. Yeah.
That is a very detailed explanation of that, and thanks for sharing that because now it's most of the time it's not easy when you come from Africa. You don't compete as much as you compete in here in the United States. So,
That's
like,
true.
this is an advice to anyone who is coming to the NCAA this fall, coming to JUCO or somewhere. You have to get your body ready, prepare, because the workload is going to be totally different. So, how
Yeah.
would you describe how did it all started for you from Zimbabwe before South Plain? How did it all started for you?
So it all started from a small town that I was born in. It's a small town in Zimbabwe. It's called Bandi, right?
Mhm.
So that's where I used to go for my primary school. Everything was good, everything was great. I was this crazy talented person, so everything was just easy for me, because I used to run like crazy fast and such a way that like I used to run with bigger age groups than me and I could beat them. So I started running from a very small age. I knew that like I could run. So transitioning from primary school to high school, it was great. It wasn't that great just because like I started high school late. So my first year we call it Form 1, right? So
Mhm.
I missed the season just because I came to school late,
Oh,
right? And then the following year, my season started good. I ran good like house competition. Then when we went to school competitions, I also ran good, but I injured my hip again.
mm.
And my growing injury was so bad that I couldn't sprint or run, so I had to cut my season, and then I couldn't continue. But the following year, like for me, I have this ability. I love track so much in such a way that like I was good at even studying and helping myself. So I started having good friends who were actually at a higher um stage than me at that time. And I made good friends with them, and then they taught me a lot of things. Then I started knowing a lot of stuff, a lot of drills. So I started practicing before the season even started. So when my Form 3, that was 2019, when that time came, like it was my first time like winning every race up to the international, because it was almost at yeah, regional level, yeah, because I represent my country, right? So yeah, regional level. So I was winning every race, and that actually propelled me to get known. Everyone knew who Denzel was, and then the following year it was a COVID year.
Mm.
So I think that was a breakthrough year for me because we didn't compete as much, but I used that as a year to prepare because a lot of people, they were sitting down. A lot of people gained weight in that year, but actually
Yeah.
for me, I took advantage because 2021, to be honest, 2021, every 200-meter race that we ran in Zimbabwe, I never lost that race. That's my testimony for 2021. That's how good I was because I prepared 2020. I used to do a little workouts, do some crazy stuff, but that was benefiting me,
Yeah.
right? So I feel like 2020 was a breakthrough for me because I took advantage of that year. And it was a year that I went like also for a regional international race or something, or regional international, I don't know. Um, that's when I represented the country again. And then 2022 was actually way more rewarding compared to 2021 because I had already had some momentum from the previous year. I
Yeah.
now knew what I was doing, but it was quite a struggle because I used to train by myself. I was a self-learning athlete. I used to research by myself, do everything by myself. But I met this coach who helped me. I worked with one coach, and then I switched to another coach who was my coach before I came here. Her name was Coach Faith. She's the one who used to help me with sometimes food. She used to be the one who helped me with supplementation, even shoes, practice shoes, and sometimes help me with going money to go to competition. She used to sacrifice a lot of what she had because she knew the potential that I had. So she used to help me a lot, and she made some connections whereby like I to meet certain people, and that's the year that I actually qualified for under 20s, which were in Cali, Colombia. So that was also a breakthrough year for me, just because that's when I broke 21 in the 200. Because I'm a pretty short guy, but like I was really good at the two. Like till today, look at my times. Like I was really
Yeah.
good at the two, and but my preparation for Worlds wasn't as how I wanted it to be, because I didn't have a lot of resources. I didn't have a lot of stuff that were to help me, because I came from like a below average family, a family whereby they can only provide with what we can eat for dinner, breakfast, lunch, and help me with money to go for practice, maybe transport money, but they cannot help me with the stuff that I need. They couldn't help me with the stuff that I needed, and it wasn't their fault, because that was the situation that I was in. So at the same time, it was pretty tough, and also even to help myself, because if you come from that type of family, like let's say if I go to a competition that gives me money, I also have to consider the situation that was at home. So I couldn't sometimes buy like necessary stuff for myself. Let's say spikes, let's say practice shoes,
Yeah.
or like just training clothes. I couldn't do that just because I know the situation that I was at home. Because what's the point of me, let's say, getting new shoes, but I can actually contribute that money to actually buy some groceries at the
Yeah.
home to actually help us eat. So that was the situation, because like it was pretty tough. So at the same time, my faith grew. Like in those situations, I go close to God, and it gave me that discipline that I still have till today. So the transition, it helped me when I came to the US, just because I had a lot of opportunities
Yeah.
and a lot of things that were benefiting me as an athlete. It was pretty tough for my first year, but it was a learning curve, because that year, like outside track, personally, I feel like I learned to be more patient.
Mhm.
Um, I go close to God, just because I was praying more as like, what am I doing wrong? But
Yeah.
I didn't know at that time, but actually it made me become patient, such that like even this is if things were not going well, I
Yeah.
appreciated the privilege to even be at the starting line, just because the previous year I couldn't even I couldn't even run.
Yeah.
Just imagine when your teammates are going, I'm the one who was recording videos, I'm the one who was taking pictures, but
It must
now
be very hard.
I have the privilege to even be on the start line. So I couldn't even say, God, why are things not going well? Because God gave me that privilege to actually run.
Yeah.
So I was actually appreciated for what God had done for me in that space of 1 year. So it was a pretty tough experience back home, but I appreciate every experience that I had, just because it makes me uh smile when I reflect to where I'm coming from, and
Yeah.
make and build my faith to where I'm going, just because I knew God took me from nothing. Now I am someone, and I know I'll be that someone again in the next coming years, according to what God has for me. So I'm actually grateful to everything that I experienced. It was pretty tough at that time, because sometimes it's hard to actually think that you're gonna have a breakthrough when you're experiencing something, right?
Yeah.
But after you come out of that bridge, you actually be like, okay, that's the reason why I had to go through this. Just because if I didn't go through all those struggles, I wasn't gonna be humble. I
Yeah.
wasn't going to know, okay, God is the one who did this for me. So
Mhm.
it was hard at that time, but the fact that I'm out of that situation, I can now reflect and understand why I had to go through all those struggles, all those injuries. So sometimes everything is a reason. So I'm actually happy with where I am right now and the opportunities that are coming my way. Yeah.
That is very inspiring, and that is very very deep. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
You've signed with UK University of Kentucky.
Yes,
You
sir.
there from this fall. What influenced your decision to go to UK? Is it Cali, or is it the training program in general that influence your decision to go to UK?
To be honest, it was pretty simple. I always tell Coach Anderson this. We was at a what do you call this? When you take a visit, right? You have these academic meetings, right?
Yeah.
So he was there with me, right? And like he was actually representing me as my father, right? Because sometimes those academic advisors they say they took everything, right? And then sometimes you'll be overwhelmed and don't know what to say. And he was actually it's like he was reading what I wanted to say, but I didn't know that I wanted to say that. Asking like he was asking thorough questions like my parents. I was like, whoa, that's really good.
Yeah.
Asking some questions that I would have that I would have wanted to ask, but I didn't ask at that time.
Yeah.
So he represented me as a father. And I knew if this person is there for me in this type of way, like I don't care about the track part because I know he's gonna do his job, and I
Yeah.
know me I'm gonna do my job. But are
Exactly.
you gonna take care of me as an athlete? Because for me, that's what I want. I want to have a person that's gonna take care of me, like off the track as a parent.
Mhm.
And the coaching stuff was just great. And for me, to be honest, like I'm not a person. I'm a person who doesn't like to have a lot of fun and stuff. So with the people that I met, I knew that those people are grounded, who are focused on what they want. Like let's say Carly, right? I know he has this way of having fun, but with the conversation that we had, I know he's not a party person. He doesn't drink and do all those crazy stuff. So I knew that's a good place to be around those people, just because for me, God took me from a hard situation to where I am right now. So for me to honor him in what he had done for me, I also have to live in a way that honors him. Because what's the point of me running fast but being in a place whereby I'm having fun, like doing stuff like with girls, alcohol and stuff? That's not my life. So I had to also considered the other side, my faith side. Like, am I going to a place that's going to help me grow my faith, or am I going to a place whereby I'm growing as an athlete, but my faith is declining? So
Yeah.
for me, I had to consider my faith first. I don't care about running fast just because God already blessed me with the life that I'm living. So I also want to honor him in whatever that I do. So that's why I had to also consider that as part of my decision making. And the staff at Kentucky, they're really good people. And there's a certain energy that you receive from a person that you can tell that this person is not fake. This
Yeah.
person is actually like this. And there's this caring lady. I think she's a recruiting coordinator, like she's Miss Debbie. Like she had this warm, welcoming spirit and
Mm.
caring like your mother. I was like, whoo, like, that's so fun. And she actually came to watch Indo Nationals. And when we were done, she actually waited for me and we had conversation and it was fun. So those are really cool people to have around. So those were part of the reasons why I had to choose Kentucky. So I don't know the other downsides, but I consider the positive sides that were actually helping me. It's a
Yeah.
good place to be in, and I know with the coach, I'm gonna work good with the coach. So those are part of the reasons. I might have forgotten some, but I think those are the main reasons.
That is very awesome, and that is very detailed.
Yeah,
What would you say are some of your strengths as an athlete? We've seen the likes of Kali, Makarau,
yeah,
Kali, Charamba. They've been doing their thing, or they've been doing their stuff in the NCAA. Uh,
yeah.
what have you learned from them, or what are you taking to from them as you are going into the D1 circuits from next year?
First and foremost, for me, I know that's gonna be a little bit hard because I'm not used to that. I can't say pressure, but it's gonna be a little bit hard just because like I'm not used to that setup. But I feel like as the season progresses,
Mhm.
I'm going to get used to it. But at the same time, as I said, what made me good this season is the work that I put in the fall. So as long as I'm going to put like all the stuff that's right for the fall, like competition is just easy because if you're well prepared,
Yeah.
like it's going to be easy.
Mhm.
So what I've learned, like for me, I'm pretty close to Carly, right? He's a person of faith also. He believes in God.
Mhm.
He had a tough outdoor season, but at the same time, his faith made his success and paid off at nationals. So
Yeah.
I know as a person, all praise to God, it's gonna be a bumpy ride, because not all things are gonna go as planned, but at the same time, if it's meant for me, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I feel like at the same time, I learned that like things don't go well as you intend them to go, but at the same time, if it's meant for you, it's gonna happen in
Yeah.
the way that God had planned it. So it's gonna be a pretty exciting experience for me just because I'm pretty excited to actually go and to D1 because it's an experience that I want to experience. But at the same time, I know what type of athlete I am because there are some people who just go there to have fun. There's some people who go there to dominate. There's some people who just be in the line who are actually happy that they are actually in that like moment in time, but they're actually people who know how to perform. So for me, I can play in other races and stuff, but when it matters the most, I don't care what's happening to me on that day, but I know how to perform regardless of what I'm going through. So that's something that I know can help me like in every big stage or big moment that I'll go through as an athlete because I know how to actually perform when it matters the most.
That's awesome. I've watched some of your video clips, and you're not the tallest guy among your competitors, but most of the time when you are sprinting, you're very tall. What would you say is your biggest strength as an athlete, or as an athlete? What's your biggest strength?
I personally feel like even though I'm short, right, but my elasticity is crazy, so I'm pretty elastic. So
Very
when I
tall when you are
run,
sprinting. When I
when I
see,
run, I completely look like a different person, which it actually makes me to not care that I'm short. Because if my stride length is big enough, like compared to a person who's taller than me,
yeah,
and I'm actually running smooth and running good compared to a person who's taller than me, I don't care if I'm short. I don't care if there's a lot of disadvantages that I actually have that I can control.
yeah.
But the fact that like for me, the advantage that I have is my elasticity. Because
Mm,
like I'm too elastic in such a way that like when I bounce off the ground, I know that that stride is going to be big. And
yeah,
um, I actually learned a lot of stuff uh as an athlete. So and there are a lot of things that contribute to me running this way because I have a clean, I can say clean, but pretty much good technique.
yeah,
You know, and the more I polish it, the more I'll get good, because
yeah,
it's not always about being tall. I mean, it comes with a lot of advantages, but it's all about stride length, is stride frequency. So if
yeah.
mine are within that range, I don't care how short I am because I understand that like running fast is all about like stride length and stride frequency. I'm already short, so I have good frequency and my stride length is actually good. So
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about anything because I know God built me this way, so I'm gonna take advantage of the way I am, regardless of the disadvantages that I have.
That is awesome because I saw your video the first time I saw your video. I'm like, this short guy is very tall when he's sprinting. Like that is crazy because
Yeah,
just like switch from being short to like very tall when you're sprinting. So
yeah.
that's a very good strength, a very good technique to have. Before we end this conversation, what advice would you give any athlete who looks up to you? Because definitely, there are a lot of athletes who are looking up to you out there,
That's true.
take inspiration for you. There will be a lot of athletes or a lot of people in Zimbabwe will be watching this interview right now. What advice would you give to those athletes who are looking up to you and those who are supporting you out there?
To be honest, I feel like it's pretty simple. So if you believe in God and you have all your faith in Him, whatever you're going through right now is not compared to the joy that's coming. And whatever you're going through right now is just building you, it's just building your character. It's either giving you patience, it's either building you as a man, it's either building you as an athlete, because you never know what you're going to experience. Like, let's say when you start to get what you want.
Mhm.
Because right now, let's say things don't go well for me next year, I can't point to God and say why things don't go well just because God is the one who actually removed me from the dirt. So
Mhm.
right now, whether whatever you're experiencing, just know that like God has a plan for you,
Okay.
and when the time is right, you understand why you have to go through all those stuff.
Yeah.
Be patient, take care of your body, be disciplined. Mostly I feel like it's discipline. If you have
Yeah.
discipline as an athlete, you actually train yourself to actually fight certain temptations that actually don't go well with the sport. You
Mhm.
know, because a lot of people, they say when they start getting good results or running good, they tend to make certain choices that that are not going to benefit them in terms of track. So what made you great? For me, let's say, let me use me as an example.
Yeah.
What made me to be where I am? I know I was disciplined. I wasn't doing like all the girl stuff, partying and stuff. So let's say when I get to where I want to be, why am I now starting to do all those? So it's simply something that's going to take away from what I can do.
Yeah.
So if my formula was getting there without doing all that, it's the same formula that I should use to maintain the certain level that I'm now in. So I now know going into Kentucky, I also have to like treat myself the way I was treating myself like in South Plains. So I personally feel like it's the way you treat yourself, the way you treat your body, and the way you humble yourself before God to
Yeah.
say, okay, God, I tried it my way, it failed. So I humble myself before you today, asking you to actually choose me so that you can do it your way. So yeah.